Hi, Bob Akmens here of Bob Akmens Sports. Welcome to Bob Akmens Sports. This is our introductory video, which we call Who We Are and How We'll Make You Money. It's in 3 separate parts. In this first part, we'll be talking about some of the important things to look for when choosing a sports service. In the second part, we'll be talking about some of the accomplishments of Bob Akmens Sports over the 30 years we've been in business and how they tie into making you money. And in the third part, we'll talk about locks and betting, and you'll have a very interesting story and a moral to be learned from that part. So please watch all 3 parts. I'll leave these headphones where they are instead of putting them on my head, because then I'll look like Jane at Time Life Books taking your phone order for whatever. Now, let's get started, folks. We're here to help you make consistent profits when you play all your favorite sports: football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, and even the best betting sport of all time, soccer. Now, back when I began in this business in 1978, there were just a few dozen sports handicapping services doing business. Today there are thousands. When you look for a sports service, there are 3 important things to consider. Number 1, integrity. You want to do business with a service that makes its record public, someone that is constantly monitored by an impartial, reputable sports monitor. Number 2, a good documented short-term record. You know, ideally, you'd like to find a service that's number 1 in every sport going on. Well, you ain't going to find it, folks. That's very, very rare. But I did that in October 2007 when I had just won the regular season baseball contest at both of the main important sports monitors, which we'll discuss in a moment. And I was the defending National Hockey League handicapping champ in both the regular and postseason contests at the Sports Monitor, one of the 2 main sports monitors, the other being the Sports Eye. And I also had the highest win percentage at more than 71% in college and NFL football combined at the Sports Monitor. Now, I've been doing this since 1978, and I had never seen a service be number 1 in all the sports going on concurrently at the same time as I was. And the third thing you should look at is a good documented long-term record. Consistency is what counts in this business, not just being a hot flash in the pan who fries you just after you join their service's 15 minutes of fame hot streak, which they may never ever duplicate again. Now let's talk about those 3 important points in more detail. First, integrity. Why would you want to do business with a service that isn't monitored? Where's the downside in being monitored? Ask yourself this: what do they have to hide? My experience has shown me that the 2 leading monitors of sports services are the sportseye.com and the sportsmonitor.com. The Sports Eye has been monitoring me since 2004, the Sports Monitor since 1988. Each season, a service can claim to be number 1 if they lead in any category of one of these leading sports monitors' handicapping contests. For instance, in football, one service might have the best win percentage, while another might have won the most net profit. Each can legitimately claim a number 1 finish. The second point, a good documented short-term record. Now, while I'm very proud of having been number 1 in baseball, number 1 in hockey, number 1 in football, all at the same time recently, you realistically can't expect any service to do that. If you're a Texas Hold'em poker fan, just look to their annual World Championship tournament, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When the 1987 World Series of Poker was won by the very recognizable Johnny Chan, one of my favorite players, he faced only 151 other entrants. Recently, the 2007 version was won by Jerry Yang, who had to face 6,357 other players. You can see why even the very best pro poker player in the world now has a minuscule chance of winning against so many other entries. And the odds of repeating as champs the next year, well, they're slightly above 0 these days. It's the same in the sports service business. Don't try to look for the guy who's number 1 in everything, because you probably won't find him, regardless of my having been there and done that recently. Look for a service that makes money for their clients, because it's just plain impossible to win every handicapping contest against hundreds, if not thousands, of other services. And the third and final point, a good documented long-term record. And I'll argue that it's much more important that a service have a consistent long-term track record than be just a hot performer 1 month and a has-been the next. Over the decades I've done this, I can't tell you how many services have been hot for a while and then didn't just go ice cold, but plain disappeared off the face of the earth. Because there's a great truth in the sports service business. Services that are monitored and consistently lose go out of business quickly. They don't last for decades. Of course, you can refuse to be monitored by anyone, and then you can lie your way to business year after year, assuming you find fresh suckers who will buy into your story of endless 80% winning seasons. Now we're going to end the first part of this video here. Remember that it's a video which is entitled to who we are and how we'll make you money. In the second part, we'll talk about Bob Akmens' track record specifics, and in the third part, we'll tell you about Henry Hill and Goodfellas and locks in betting. You don't want to miss any of that. So thanks for visiting. Make sure you watch the second and third part of our videos. Look around the site. Hope we can make you some money. Thank you very much for listening.